I want to start by saying that I have generally found it to be a bit dishonest. The ways that people, when the Justin Tucker story came around, threw it out there and were like, well, we talked about Deshaun Watson. How come we ain't got that same energy for Justin Tucker? And I mean, I understand that we live in some what about times, but I also think everybody understands why that's stupid, right? I'm not really in the business of letting the white man off the hook, but like, that's stupid. Like, he's the kicker. Deshaun Watson was a superstar quarterback. It was a far more, if nothing else, it was a far more interesting story. But no, I know on this show I didn't really talk about the thing with Justin Tucker because it was just kind of like, wow, that's a little messed up. But I didn't really have that much to go. Like, I found it to be a story that obviously made me uncomfortable, but I didn't, like, it wasn't a talker, I guess is the way to put it. And in the end, when we do this job, it really becomes about what's the best talker going to be. Like, I didn't feel like I had a moral obligation to talk about Justin Tucker. Well, I got bad news for Justin Tucker. Today, Sean, is what they call a slow news day.
Yeah, we have time today to talk about this.
Yes. And on a slow... yes. I got to open it on my calendar. And Justin Tucker, today is your day. I don't feel bad about this either.
Not at all.
I don't feel bad about this either. Your turn. Let me send that tweet out. Your turn, Justin Tucker. Let's see if we can goose these numbers up a little bit on this show, because it's some people that be doing that, man. It's that what about game. Like, people used to play that what about Brett Favre game with me, and I was like, hey, dog, he be suing people. I did my Brett Favre thing. By the way, I will note I did the Brett Favre thing when I was at Game Theory because we had a team of lawyers, and not one of you what about motherfuckers patted me on the back, not one single time. But Sean, you and I have talked about the Justin Tucker thing, like, with each other for a while. And I think you and I were both fascinated by the same thing, which is he ain't even good no more.
That's the thing to me, is especially the last, at least this past year, where everyone was like, you know, Justin Tucker, anything under 50 yards is an automatic make and this and that. And he was not making kicks last year for the Ravens on a team that really needed him to make kicks, especially in the playoffs.
Like, to me, this seems like a no-brainer decision. And not just because he is an alleged sex pervert. This seems like a no-brainer decision because he's the kicker and he's not good. Like, look, maybe, just maybe, what came out of after all the social upheaval of the last like 15 years, man, maybe after George Floyd and everything else, what we all learned is kickers are people too. Because back when I was a kid, hey man, we ain't tolerating nearly this much off of kickers. Think about this. You didn't know Pat McAfee was like that until after he played, you know? You ain't know that, right? Now, kicker in Kansas City got the nerve to have controversial politics. Kickers out here getting accused of being sex perverts and everything else, and they get to keep even when they not making kicks. At least the dude in Kansas City, by and large, have been making kicks. Justin Tucker, normally, man, they take one of y'all out back behind the shed, and then we just don't talk about it no more.
Like, in 1 week, if you miss 2 kicks, historically You've been fired or put on the bench. There's this one comment from Bonzino. Ravens are waiting until after June 1st to cut him because if they do it before, they will get hit with major cap penalties if they cut him after June 1st. How
major could the cap penalty be? He's a kicker.
Exactly. That was my point to bring up, is like, he's a kicker. He's not that expensive.
And number 2, and this is where it gets to be somewhat important as we were talking about it, during the season. He was bad for business during the season. What are we doing here? You remember when Mike Vanderjagt, who at the time was like the best, like the most accurate kicker ever, he said that stuff he said about Peyton Manning in that interview, and he was there for one more year. And then as a free agent, they let him go. And by the way, he was never the same again. I am so confused by the fact that he still has a job. And so that made me think about a couple of things. Now, number one, the Ravens are the team that did not let go of Ray Rice until a video came out. And then they made the reactionary decision to let him go. But they rode it out with him the entire way. But we generally look at the Ray Rice thing as kind of a turning point on teams needing to handle things a little bit differently. Now, a lot of people have made the point that it spoke to the power of having video rather than just simply an allegation. But I feel like a lot of things have happened in the intervening time period since then, including like the Me Too movement and everything else. And I thought that we took these things a little bit more seriously than we had previously. Or at the very, and look, maybe the society at large just no longer has the attention span, because I've said that our capacity for scandal has greatly diminished. Maybe that's part of it, right? I don't have the greatest answer for that. But I did think the sorts of allegations that are against Justin Tucker, that no kicker could survive this, let alone what has become a bad kicker. Like, there's no way I ever thought at any point that a bad kicker could survive what he is surviving now. Like the fact that he still has this. It never dawned on me. So I went back. I started reading, or read again rather, the article in the Baltimore Banner, the independent newspaper, about the Justin Tucker case. And something jumped out to me that I feel like I had been aware of, but I didn't like fully internalize, which is we have had people who were online making these allegations about Justin Tucker. And for those who don't know, it's largely the same allegation as Deshaun Watson. He be acting bad during massages. The difference is Deshaun Watson was calling people like via Instagram and getting quasi-professionals to give these massages. And then he'd be out there trying to get them to rub everything, you dig? But the difference is that Watson was doing out calls, and most of Tucker's stuff is at these high-end spas. Like he was going to these places like the Four Seasons, for example, to get these massages. And then there was a long line of women who then said that, yes, he behaved inappropriately in various ways. The allegations span from the year 2012 through 2016. I didn't see anything about any of these allegations after the year 2016. And that gives me one question. What happened in 2016? Like, I feel like there's an answer to that question that could maybe answer a lot of other things that don't make any sense. Because what is being described sounds like compulsive behavior. What is being described does not sound simply like someone who knows he ain't supposed to do something, but he just does it because he feels like it. Again, we're talking about the kicker here. Like, why would he stop? If the allegations are true, and I'm going to be honest with you, I read the articles and I thought about it more. I believe that what is being alleged about him is true. And I think that most people who are running a team in most situations with a kicker would see enough reason to think that it was true, that they would get him out of there and go get a new kicker. If for no other reason, then it's a little stressful to be having that dude in your crew. You know what I'm saying? That make everybody look at you funny, because we looking at y'all funny now. But anyway, what happened in 2016? If anybody can find the answer for me of what made people stop accusing him of doing these things. What stopped? Did he stop? Did he start going about it a different way? Did they stop? What is it? Because it seems pretty clear that something stopped. Did he simply run out of places to go get massages? Did he start getting on the road and going like to West Virginia or something like that, or going to Delaware or some neighboring place and making it happen where they didn't know who he was, right? What made it stop? Because everybody's behavior in this is so strange in a way that I just would like the answer to that question. And maybe that could spell out some other things. But maybe I'm just a cynic. And maybe, hey, we're in the day and age where bad kickers get to keep their jobs no matter what. Maybe everything has changed. I don't know. I just know that if you believe the allegations to be true, then you would think that something would have happened to have made the behavior stop, and the behavior would have stopped in 2016. You'd have to be just as curious as I am, wouldn't you?